Hey everyone, we're here with Nason, who is one of the guys that puts on Post Fest. If you don't know it, you should check it out. This year it happens July 25th through the 28th, I believe.
24th through 26th. Close enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I dude, so many dates in my head right now. I've just gotta save the date for my niece for, she's getting married, and I'm like, I can't believe I got fucking nieces and nephews and kids old enough to be doing this now. No.
Yep.
But she changed and, releases and all kinds of shit. So it happens in Indianapolis. Uh, there's some really killer bands. Of course, everyone's favorite Converge is going to be there. Cave In, Emma Ruth Rundle, Pianos Become Teeth. We Lost the Sea, You Infinite, which You Infinite is so good. I've only heard, what they have out on
Yeah.
Spotify, but man, so good.
Yeah. Jeremy is amazing. So him and a couple of the guys from This Will Destroy You have branched off and done You Infinite. I really like it. It's amazing. And
Yeah,
and the guys are awesome too. They're so good.
yeah, super cool. So, if I'm not mistaken, like PostFest started in 2018, is that right?
hmm Yep. I think so. Like you, dates started to like get blurry with me, but yeah, that sounds about right. A couple years before COVID, we started out at a brewery, 150 cap, and we're nervous as hell because our guarantees were like $2,000, and we didn't want our wives to be pissed off when we were paying out of our pocket. But it worked out well, and we did it there for a couple of years and grew to different theaters in Indianapolis, and now we're kind of at our home in Fountain Square, which is the Hi-Fi. And right now, Hi-Fi has an indoor 500 cap room, and then we have an outdoor annex. It's about 1,000. So
Right on.
that's and this is actually 2025 is the last year for that. They've actually invested in that building, and they're going to build out the 1,200 cap indoor room, which will work awesome for the kind of music that we bring in. So I'm pumped on that, and I don't have to worry about rain or people crying because it's too fucking hot.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it's still gonna be fucking hot. It's just gonna be inside.
Yeah. You're going to be able to go outside and get a little breeze, and that's about the extent of it, you
That's
know?
right. That's right. Yeah,
Still,
man. So just Derek and I have been doing this since 2018, and my selfish reason to do this was I'm in a band and I wanted to play with cool bands, and they never came to Indy. So this was the beginning of that. I'm in a band that went on tour in Europe. We saw some cool festivals in Europe that we were a part of, and I was like, shit, we should do this in America. So it's kind of the where it started and where we're at now. So yeah.
yeah, like that's awesome. I think we kind of touched on it before we got started, but when people come together and curate things like this, they put their time and energy and resources into it. It's, generally these things aren't big money makers. They're usually you're running in the red, always
Yep.
just
So the
throwing.
last t-shirt sold,
Yeah,
basically, yeah. It's
yeah,
a cheesy way to say it, but it is a passion project, right? Like it's my obsession throughout the year that's not work and not school, kids, all that stuff. It's my hobby, I guess. If I collected cards or something like that, this is what I do. I try to curate things and fight with my partner about which direction to go. I mean, that's kind of like what we do, and it's fun, man. It's awesome. Indianapolis, everybody asks why Indianapolis. That's where we're from, and we always wanted to do something cool in Indianapolis. Now I don't live in Indianapolis, but we still are doing our best to keep it there. I mean, over 80% of the people that come are not from Indianapolis, so
right.
it's tough when the town doesn't support as much. But we're doing our best to try to support the neighborhood we're in, the local businesses, and things like that. So it's a pretty big financial uptick for Fountain Square for the weekend. And, that's not why we do it, obviously, because we don't get any of that, but it
No,
is
but
nice.
it's a
It
really
is nice.
cool benefit, right, for
Yeah.
the area that I think a lot of people don't think about is, the revenue and the visitors in the
Mm-hmm.
area, bringing new life into the area. It helps people go, oh, I want to, maybe live there, or
Yeah, for sure. It's,
whatever.
I mean, and most people that come, like a lot of people talk shit about Indianapolis and the music scene there and things like that. But when they come and they've come now for 3 or 4 years, it's kind of just like they know what to expect. And they're like, man, this is really awesome for a couple days.
Yeah,
Indianapolis is cool for a couple days. So, and I'm proud of that. I've always, I grew up in Indianapolis. I've moved different places across the country, but Indy will always be home. And being able to try to support the venues and the food and the restaurants and the things like that. That's a big part of like the passion too, right? Like trying to support as much as possible. Now, if I could put every local band on the show, I would.
sure.
But you gotta. We also have to try to curate and create some sort of flow and journey as we do it too. So, um, it's that's a hard part too, is saying no, because now it's to the point where uh, we only have only 30 bands and we've got to try to make that flow work correctly. And we're idiots for doing 30 bands too. Like it's bonkers to watch people watch every single set. And at the end of the night, they're broke, sticky, and confused basically. So
Yeah. Yeah, I am at that age now where I realized I'm at about a four band cap.
yeah.
After
Yeah.
about even the fourth band is kind of on that line where I'm like, "Meh,
You're like, watch. Come
I
on, man.
don't know, man.
Play my song. Play my song. I gotta go.
I got
Yeah. No, I
right.
get it. So yeah, so it's basically saving up energy all year for that 3 day scramble. And we're super pumped on the bands we got this year. We still have another announcement to hit in February. So after that, it's kind of nail biting till the fest starts to make sure we try to cover our asses. But that's part of the fun too, I guess. We're idiots in a lot of aspects, but it makes us proud too to introduce some bands that nobody knows about. And clearly we don't know a lot about a lot of the bands too. So a lot of the bands that we bring are bands that people suggested, and then we
Yeah.
go down the rabbit hole and things like that. So yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, that's super cool. I was like, there's a band I just ran into this year, Oh Hiroshima.
I love
Uh,
them. Yep.
dude, so
Yeah.
good.
They're definitely on our list. We already have a tab for 2026.
Sweet.
So this year, with all the political bullshit that's happening, a lot of international bands have either made it really tough financially for them to come over, or just the uncertainty of what was going to happen in July. So,
Yeah.
a lot of those bands we've kind of tabbed for the next year, and we always say that. We've been saying that since 2018. Oh, we'll put them on next year, but eventually it happens. We
It'll
lost the
happen.
season. Yeah, we lost the season. One of those bands that after year two, we're like, be awesome if we could get. We lost the sea, and now they're here, and they're gonna play an amazing album all the way through on Thursday. And I don't know if we've announced this year yet or not, but they will be playing another set on Saturday as well. So they'll be jamming twice. So we like to try to do that for the bands that travel, 24 plus hours to get to
Oh
us.
yeah.
Uh, and that's cool for the fans too, right? Because like I said, over 80% of our fans are traveling. And of that 80%, over 15% of them are international. So it's pretty cool that we're becoming a small little tiny bit
Destination.
of what like Arc Tangent and Dunk Fest and the guys that we really look up to that are running those things, man. So even if we're just like 10% of that's pretty cool for us.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's cool to do something and have people coming from all over to
Yep.
gather for it. It's like, oh, okay, like I love it. And this shows that I'm not the only one, which is
Yeah,
really cool.
exactly. Yeah, I mean that's like our big thing is like uh promoting and giving a place for the underserved genres that we love to be able to do their thing. Like a lot of these bands play with, like a post rock band will play with a metal band because a promoter doesn't know what the fuck to do with a post rock band.
Right.
Metal, everybody can stick to metal, right? So we're hardcore. So it's pretty cool. I mean, we last year we kind of went the emo way, and it was fun, and a lot of it was selfish reasons for myself. Like I wanted to see some of the bands, and I'll keep saying that it's really what I want to do in some aspects. And
So
I feel,
it's like I think the reality of it is I look at it a lot like a band. When a band plays music for themselves, when a festival organizer puts the festival on for themselves,
Mhm.
like you tend to have more longevity than if you go into it with a very like we have to do it this way and it
Yeah,
has, you know what I mean? Like because it's out of love and not out of anything else.
correct. And we've made it so like when we first started, it was showcasing mostly post rock and post metal. Well, I got tired of that, and I know a lot of other people did too. Not that I don't love those genres. So we've been trying to like find that magic like mixture of all these underserved sub post dash whatever genres, and it makes it interesting too because this year's more Converge and Cave In and like more hardcore bands. We had to throw in Bone Ripper though too because that's kind of awesome. So it changes every year, but we try to make it make sense in blocks of music too. So then, if somebody's really into a shoegaze band, well, we're gonna try to group a couple together so it's not like you get into that groove and you want to keep going in that groove a little bit. So
Yeah.
uh, it's tough though because again, only 30 bands, right? So
Yeah, only 30 bands, whatever show we do, however. But to to have that and it's cool. I like that you guys are throwing in, not just like post rock or post metal, right? But you've got
mhm.
the hardcore and the shoegaze. I love shoegaze, one of my favorites right now is Spotlights and
Yeah,
they just every time I see them they blow my mind.
Spotlights is cool, man. They played Post Fest in 2019, I believe. So yeah, they're great. And some of the people in those bands are in other bands that have played.
Yeah.
So it's pretty, it's kind of incestuous. All the bands are. Everybody's got the same drummer or associated in some way. But yeah, so New Moon's on this year's festival, and they're freaking amazing. So if you haven't checked them out, you should check them out. They're coming from overseas as well. So
I just
uh,
started checking them out when you got on and I was like,
yeah,
okay, like I'll
yep,
I'll get back to that.
that's a headphones and chill type of album that they just put out. So yeah.
Right on. So, in your years of doing it, like, what has there been a memory for you that just jumps out as like, man, this night or this band was so awesome, and this is exactly why I do it.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, last year's still fresh on my mind. And we finally, going back to the beginning when we started this, Derek and um, I started it so my band could play with cool bands. Derek started it just because he's a glutton for punishment. So we work really well together. But last year we had Caspian, and Caspian's one of those bands that when I started this, and I think when Derek and I started working together, it was like we have to get Caspian. So every year we've been trying to get Caspian. Finally, it happens last year, and just being able to like step back in the middle of their set from where I was, and to be able to see, 900 people fucking losing their minds was pretty cool. And then being able to go to the front and see my son like pumped on it, like he's headbanging and like nobody else is there. He was doing his own thing, and that was so cool. So um, yeah, I think that was like the moment for me in most recent memory. But every year has its own like really cool spots where it's like, damn, we did that. Like,
Yeah.
wow, yeah. So it's pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
that's cool. You have that memory right with your son because that's, as a parent, I always try to tell my kids, like, you know what, if you're enjoying it, who gives a shit what anyone else thinks? Like, if you're at a show, whether I like the band or not, I'm not going to shit on you. Like the
Yeah.
band, enjoy the moment. And if someone else is going to shit on you, fuck them. Who cares?
Yep, yep. I have that mentality for sure. And like, trying to have our kids at least listen to the music or be a part of what we're doing is really cool. At the end of the day, I don't care if they like post rock or metal or hardcore, like, but they're so much more well-rounded when it comes to music than their friends. And it's
Yeah.
pretty cool to see like my daughters like listening to the Smiths, and then their little friends are like, oh, what band is this? And they're like, this is the Smiths. And everybody's like, what's that? I'm like, yeah, do that. Do that. you can still listen to the bullshit pop too, but still have a little bit of it
Oh yeah.
in your head. So yeah, it's cool. But yeah, so Indy, it's gonna be hot as shit. Everybody's gonna cry about it, but it's fine. Like we're all gonna be hot. It's
Yep.
all gonna, but it's the way to be and the place to be. So I'm pretty pumped. And dude, getting Cave In, especially with their whole Jupiter thing they're doing right now, is gonna be killer.
What a
Converge,
great
obviously. Yeah.
yeah. Cave-In puts on such a great fucking show. I
Yeah.
Who'd I go? It was them, Young Widows, and there was another band.
I love Young Widows.
So
Oh,
do
was
I.
that pretty recent, right?
Yeah, probably last like 2 years, I think.
Yep. Yep. Evans, awesome. Derek makes fun of me because I try to get any kind of Evan project on that I can when I can. We had Young Widows 2 years ago. They actually saved our ass. A band canceled on us, and they came in and
Right on.
it's out. So yeah, but Evan's cool, and all his bands are always awesome. I love his J. Gile project. Anything he does is.
Oh yeah, he's got something new coming out with that right now too.
Yep. They're on tour right now, I think.
I think
Who?
are they? Young Widows, I think, is getting ready to go on tour.
Yeah, they're on tour right now. Yeah, and then his new J. Gile record either just came out or is getting ready to come out. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah, I think
awesome.
they're on tour with Thou and
Yep, Val. Well, there's another band that's on my list every year.
right.
So,
And I'm gonna tell you that like they announced the show it was for the second here. They're playing at
oh yeah,
Portal. And I
yep.
was like, oh, killer, dude. Like, I'll totally be at that show. And then I looked at my calendar and I'm like, oh no, I'm in Vegas until the third. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, damn it. Yeah, that's they're amazing. So, we'll see. One day we'll get with them, and booking this and trying to make relationships with all these agents, and like it's not just about hitting up the band anymore. It
Yeah.
seriously next level. So then you book a couple bands from the agents, get some trust, and then you can keep building off of that as well. So our bill keeps getting bigger, but we're getting cooler shit going. Not that anything in the past wasn't cool, but being able to say yes to some insane shit like Converge, or last year my insane shit was Page 99.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, watching them was mind blowing to me too. So man, it's been a fun ride. Like I hope it keeps going. I don't think that we'll ever run out of bands. We just may run out of energy or life.
Nah, you just maybe life. But with energy, you just put people in place. Here, you do that now and you do that. Like you're not gonna make any money because none of us are, but we're gonna have fucking fun,
Give you a t-shirt.
right?
You could feel cool for a couple days, maybe. But yeah, that's yeah, and we have tons of our post fest fam that anybody, if we called and needed help in any way, I know that anybody would step up or be glad to, and that's a big part of it too. The community has been like amazing. Like we know that there's a built-in community of 500 people that will be there whether we book the shittiest fest or not, and just to be a part of it and like have that pilgrimage and that family aspect for a couple days is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's I a lot of people I don't think understand that part of like I'm going to call it a festival mentality, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not. It's not really a mentality. It's church, dude. We get together. There's no judgment. There's no egos. You're there to enjoy the music and catch up with someone who you haven't seen in a year or a few
Yep,
months or whatever that is.
correct.
And everyone looks out for everyone.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
100% correct. So like even when we had like Page 99 and City of Caterpillar last year, like some people were like worried that circle pits were going to break out and people are going to get hurt, and it's like I mean, people had a great time, but everybody's still, even in that thought process and enjoying music like that, everybody still looked out for everyone, and it wasn't as a big of a deal that like some of the maybe the venue staff was worried about, or
Yeah.
things like that. So yeah, it's nice to have that, and like you know, social media helps, but also ruins a lot of that too because you lose that personal touch. But being able to meet some dude that lives in Germany that you've been chatting with in the post fest community or whatever, have a beer with them in Indianapolis is it's surreal, right? Like it's
Yeah.
beyond cool. So
Well,
that's
you know,
cool.
yeah, think about that, right? Back in the 80s and 90s, it was shit, what was it? It was late 90s when people started really using like email, like,
Hmm.
ooh, we're getting
Yep.
fancy. And before
Yep.
that, it was you send a you send a letter and like 3 weeks later you're getting something back and you're like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's like even going back to bands, like that was I booked a tour on bookyourownfuckinglife.com, and I sent out fucking manila envelopes with CDs and photos and bios to try to book shows. You don't do that anymore.
Nope.
It was an art, like trying to wheel and deal with other bands for to take you out in their little regions, and then you had to do it in your region. Like it was a blast. But yeah, that definitely changed things a lot. But yeah, back to the festival mentality, like that's a number one. I should have never named this post festival. Derek and I shouldn't have, because as soon as that word is used to any booking agent in the world, it's quadruple the price. And the festival thing that the blue like festivals blew up over the last like 5 years.
Yeah.
So like all the big money ones have ruined chances for all us little guys to like put something cool together. So we're holding on for dear life as far as like doing that. But the bands have been super like into it, and it helps to have a good rep, and take care of the bands when they come, and the fans take care of the bands. Like the our post fest fam comes and like supports the bands hard. And now we've branched into like now, well, most of the people that come to these shows are gear nerds too. So now we have pedals and we have guitar companies like have a booth and shit. So it's pretty cool to like see that too. Like people get to meet like Chase Bliss, for example. You don't get to play all their pedals, but at our festival you do. Just
Right.
probably bring a pick and you can dick around with all the stuff that you can only see on YouTube because your local or guitar shop doesn't have it. So it's pretty cool. Like I don't
That's
know.
a that's a really cool aspect to that. Like, so I didn't know that. So
Yeah.
holy shit. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah. So yeah, we
I
have some really cool like pedal partners coming out this year. Same thing. Like we have an awesome custom guitar company that's going to be showcasing as well. So like yeah, you just grab his guitar, go down the line, and play with all the crazy shit that is available. So and then we've got a record store, a record company. Like we have other things that people are interested in our community, which is pretty cool. Like, I don't know, it's fun. It's you know, trying to make it more than just 30 bands in a row, you
yeah.
know.
Well, and it sounds like, it's a lot more than that, right? With the ability to play with pedals and check out records and shit like that. Like, hell, I go
Yep.
to a festival, that's what I want. I don't
Oh, yeah.
Of course I go for the music, don't get me wrong, and I love the bands,
Yeah.
but to to have a break of sorts and do something else that's still
That's,
related is like,
yeah. And still in your interest circle, right? Yeah,
yeah.
for sure. 100%. So, and all those guys that I talked about, like they're super supportive as well. I mean, not only are we bringing 1,000 fans for those people to get eyeballs on, but there's also 30 bands that use all that stuff, right? So it all makes sense. It all is still kind of in the same orb. So it's pretty cool.
Hell yeah. Good for you, man. Like, you and Derek are, I think you guys are crushing it. So great job.
Hey,
Keep that up.
as long as we have you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Derek and I, we have a funny relationship. We're, best friends, but we fight like two women most of the time over like the dumbest shit. But
As it
then
should be. That's what your best friend's for, right?
So it's good though. Like it keeps us engaged, I guess. Yeah. But he's still an indie. So he has to deal with some of the stuff I don't deal with because he's on the ground, right? Like,
Haha.
yeah. So we also picked up an awesome beer sponsor. So we try to incorporate a beer with our festival as well. So they'll brew a beer for us. It's two breweries coming together to collab, and then we generally have canned beers with custom logo and whatever flavor we come up with. But this year, I think we're going to do wax dipped bottles, which will be badass.
That's
Yeah,
super
so,
cool.
yeah, so I'm pretty excited about that too. So, we have tons of awesome partners that like at the end of the day, we all just want to do cool shit.
Yeah.
And whether
Do
it's
cool
some
shit with
food,
cool people.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Whether it's food, music, whatever. So, and it all goes together because it's just life. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. Like, and it's really cool when you can bring in all these people. Like, I'm not a drinker, but when I did, I loved finding unique beers. Like, I can't tell you how many bands beers I have sitting on a shelf over
Yep.
here.
Yep. That's sick.
Like,
Yeah.
we we had to steal some Shadows Fall beer from the Shadows Fall reunion in 21.
There you go.
So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's talking about drinking, like we've also seen a big push for non-alcoholic options too that are still cool. Like, so we're trying to work with partners on that side too. Like it just keeps evolving and kind of, you know, our our family tells us what they want or what would be cool. And again, it goes back to what can we do to be cool for a couple days. And
yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
CBD might be a part of it this year, like THCA. I mean, there's, you know, people like to get high and listen to music too. So
That
yeah,
they do.
that,
And, it's Indy's not that far from Michigan,
uh-uh.
and I don't know if you guys partake out there, but Michigan's got like mushroom dispensaries.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's the next big thing, dude. Yep,
That
for sure.
like it's so wild to think, because when we were teenagers, it was like that's the devil.
Yep. Oh yeah. Well, in Indiana, it still is, right?
Yeah,
But it's getting closer. The devil's getting closer.
all around you.
Yep. Or yeah, I think that Indiana's an island now, right?
Yeah, because
Kentucky
Kentucky,
cool with it now?
I think Kentucky went medicinal, I think on the first of
Oh,
this
okay.
year.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, if it's hopeful. I mean, this is a different conversation. We could do that too, but
Yeah,
okay.
it is definitely a different conversation.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I mean, being able to just um have things that, a beer that you'll never drink and put it on your shelf, or like I'm not a tape person, but like bands that do tapes, like people buy those tapes and they never play them, but they put it on their shelf
They
because
do.
it's
Man, and that I get it, right? Because it's like a low threshold to support the band you want as
yep.
far as money goes. But I'm like, I don't ever want to own another fucking tape in my life.
Well, I'm kind of like that with t-shirts though. Like I'm like, God damn, I do not need another black t-shirt with a band on it.
Well, I was just talking to my wife about like I've probably got 40 totes of folded up t-shirts in my garage. I come
Yeah.
home from a show and she's like, another shirt?
Yep.
Like, well,
Yep.
I would have bought a poster, but they didn't have any, so it was a shirt.
It
And
was a shirt or nothing because you wanted to support the band. I mean,
yeah,
it makes sense. Like that's so yeah, that's another thing. Like we brought poster tubes last year because a lot of the bands have posters and you want to be able to not carry that around and be like this all day,
yeah,
trying not to rip it or bend it. Um, so,
yeah,
but yeah,
that's a nightmare.
the alternative things that bands come out with is way cool for me because I love being able to support the band, but I do not need another T-shirt. I probably already have your record, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, when a band has a new record, if I know they're going on tour pretty quick where I'm going to be right after the release,
yeah,
I'm going to wait until I'm
yeah,
at the show so I can at least give them a little cash while they're on the road.
yeah, because that's definitely a bigger percentage they get if they're handing it to you, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
That's the
yeah.
theory anyway. Like,
Makes us feel better anyways.
yeah. So is there a band that you're really looking forward to seeing this year?
Besides Converge and Cave In, there's a couple bands we haven't announced yet that I'm really pumped on. But We Lost the Sea is like that's going to be awesome. My band's actually playing this year. After all of that, we're finally going to play. So my guys are all practicing in Indy, and I play bass, so it's fine. I'll be fine. My guys, you know,
It'll work out.
yeah, it'll be fine. So we're playing on Thursday with We Lost the Sea, and that's pretty mind blowing. Pianos Become the Teeth is also playing on Thursday. Oh, love that band too.
Yeah.
So those are the two bands that like those records are playing a lot in my house still. Like that Keep You record by Pianos Become the Teeth. When my kids were little, they thought that Pianos Become the Teeth was my band because my wife and
Played
I
it
listened
so
to it
much.
so much. Yeah, they were really disappointed when I wasn't. So they're pumped to see that, and like now it's coming full circle. Like now things that they will remember from 5, 10 years ago, like are coming back up. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, super
Yeah,
cool to see that cycle.
yeah, exactly. So there are some bands that like I'm excited to see what other people think. Like I've seen on some like Reddit boards, and they're like, why is Bong Ripper on this? It's like, well, you'll see. It's gonna be awesome. And if it's not, go get a drink. I don't know what to tell you.
It's going to be awesome for someone.
Yes.
It may
Yeah.
as well be you, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. But I'm pretty jacked on having Converge in Indianapolis. Like I tried to do a little research to find the last time that they played at Indy, and I couldn't find. I know it's happened, but I couldn't find like a really serious documented show. So um, we'll see how that goes. They'll play outside, and then Cave In will play after them. So that'll be awesome to see that happen, like
I
an
feel
outside.
like Converge is going to bring a lot of people in.
Yeah, we hope so. We hope so.
Yeah.
But once we announce single day, maybe that'll help out a little bit differently as well, especially the regional people. I think we've sold what normally we would sell for the 3 day like bender, right? Like those people know that they were coming back already.
Right.
Um, and we've tripled our sales from where we are today versus last year. So it's definitely catching on more, and people know that coming for those 3 days is worth it if you can do it. Like I know that's a big financial um, commitment and time.
I mean, is it like let's compare it to some of these bigger like 4 day festivals
Right,
because
right.
like Louisville's got Bourbon and Beyond and Louder Than Life, and you look at those, I think just the tickets themselves are, I haven't looked this year, but I'm assuming they're probably 800 or 900 bucks for the 4 days.
Insane, dude. Yeah,
Like,
and you're gonna see a short set from the bands that you want to see.
yeah,
So
all
we're like,
three bands.
yeah, and we're anti that, right? Like we're giving our bands more set time. We're giving our bands opportunities to do things that they can't do at something like that. But those festivals are also helping support those bands financially in a way that we can't sometimes. So
Right.
it really depends on what the band is looking for, and most of the time it's you know yeah, we're anti the Bourbon and Beyond and all those crazy festivals. But
I'm
I
not
want to,
anti, but I prefer the smaller
yeah,
festivals like this because it's it's a lot more communal. Of
yep,
course, I go to Louder Than Life and I've got my group of people that I see and hug and
oh yeah,
hang out with, but they go and do their thing. I go and do my thing. And
yeah. No, I'm not saying I'm anti those festivals. I'm saying
yeah,
we're opposite in
yeah,
the way that we're thinking. Um,
right, right.
which Derek kicks my ass all the time every year because I'll book a bunch of the smaller, not smaller, but the support bands that I'm like, I want them to be a part of this. They've come and supported us for a long time. So now it's their turn to come and play. And, most festivals book the big bands and then go the other way. For 80% of this year, we went the opposite way.
That's cool though. Like to for you to even have that in your mindset is really fucking cool because those people, they don't show up to support because they think they're going to get something in return.
Right.
They show up to support just to support. And for you to say, hey, appreciate it. Why don't you come and play? And we'll figure out the headliners later is like a holy
Yeah.
shit. All right, this is cool as shit.
Yeah. Derek does not like that, but I get it. It
So it goes.
goes. That's right. But yeah.
That's fucking awesome. Um, when are you getting to town for the festival? Like day
Yeah.
before?
So I'll probably come in 4 or 5 days prior, try to bang out a couple practices with my band pillars. Hopefully all of it falls into place, or we'll just embarrass ourselves. And then it turns into Merch City for a couple days. My wife is a big part of that, and then we get some pizzas and have friends over and roll shirts and get all that ready, all the pre-order stuff ready. So, and then it happens, and it happens so fast, and then it's over. And then 2 weeks later, Derek and I are already fighting about who we're gonna try to get in for the next year, which is
Yeah.
insane. Like it's an 11 month a year thing
It's a
now.
cycle. And I, I don't, I don't know that a lot of people understand what all it takes going into, putting together a festival, especially something that's 3 or 4 days long.
Yeah.
Like there's, there are a lot of moving pieces, and if something isn't right, it can throw everything off. So you do have to start early.
Yep, yep, yeah. Because I mean, and bands they're looking to book things way out in advance. 2 years ago, if we would have asked a band 10 months in advance, they'd be like, "Fuck you, dude! Like,
Right.
unless you want to give us way more than we would if you would have waited 3 more months, we're not holding that." So it's yeah, I don't know if it's going to last like that forever, but I think that's a part of it now.
I think
So
it is too. Well, for
yeah,
the smaller festivals, I think it has to be,
yep,
right? Because if you're not booking them so far out,
yeah.
then you have to compete with the larger Live Nation or,
Hmm.
Danny Wimmers or what have you. And, on a small scale, like, shit, who's got all that free money just to be like, yeah, it's fine.
I
I'll give you 50 to come play. Like, what? All right.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, and part of that too is like trying to keep the all of those type of festivals. We're probably the smallest out of all of them, but we have a relationship with Dunk Festival in Belgium. We have a relationship with Prepare the Ground up in Toronto. Like we chat with these guys regularly so we don't step on each other's toes. Uh,
They have the Atlas Moth playing this year. Prepare the Ground does.
no, I talked to that. I know, I know. So yeah, we'll work on that they're on the tab for 2026. Great.
I love those dudes,
Yeah.
man. Like,
Super nice dudes too. So
yeah,
yeah, we'll definitely have them in Indy too. But like, yeah, so like Prepare the Ground, KY is or I'm sorry, KW is one of the promoters and the owners of that festival. So he's been super gracious to like share some of his experiences, and like he's also a management company and does other things. So he manages Emma Ruth Rundle actually. So being able to talk to KW on that and just like make sure that we're all trying to do the same thing, but we want everybody to be successful, but we also don't want to all announce the same bands and then fight over
right.
the same 500 people, right?
Because that's what ends up happening,
Exactly.
and that sucks. But that's the funny thing about like Danny Wimmer Presents is like all of his festivals out here in like the Midwest and East Coast. I mean, I feel like there's there's a core like 25 or 30,000 people that go to all of his festivals.
It's wild. That's
Like,
wild.
what
Good
the
for him.
yeah, that's so it's mind blowing. I know people that go just so they can camp and drink. They don't give a shit about the bands. They just want to camp and drink. I'm like,
I mean,
it's cheaper if you just go get a campground.
yeah, or just in your backyard.
Yeah, that too.
Just turn something up real loud and be good.
Like, damn
Uh,
it.
yeah, yeah, it's crazy. So but yeah, we're I'm seriously I can't wait for July already. So we'll see. So we do have one more announcement. We got some cool bands, some different leaning bands. So we're really mixing it up. We'll see the reaction, but we already have our core people bought in. So again, it's a roll of the dice to see if everybody's gonna bitch about it or be super pumped on it or just be there to be there.
It's gonna be all of those.
Yeah, it's
They're gonna
right.
bitch, they're gonna be there, and they're gonna like just be there. Like, all right.
I love it. I love all the people that support it. It's fun for
Yeah,
sure.
it's really cool. And I think you probably see it, you and Derek probably see it as you know, almost like a child, right?
Yeah.
You do it out of love, and these people come together and it's like, oh, all right, well, we don't suck that bad. Like this is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, it is pretty fucking cool. Yeah, that for sure that's a big part of it as well as that I mean that's my high, right? Like it's cool to see it all come together, and then people actually like smiling and like, we don't need thanks. Like Derek and I are the we don't need thanks. We don't need people coming up to us and saying thank you. Like, just we're all doing it together,
Yeah,
whether they think they're a part of it or not. Like we're very in tune to what people are asking for or suggesting. Like it's none of it goes to the wayside because we think we're like these badass dudes that know exactly what everybody wants, because that is not it at all. So learning about other bands and genres and going down rabbit holes is a big part of what we do too.
yeah, and that's a lot of freaking fun.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And it's nice now that it's kind of branched out, because then get tired of one genre, then we're just going to go do another one for this year, and we can always pick something else back up later.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, it's like an infinite amount of music out there that
Gary.
there's always something new popping up, and you're like, man, where did they come from? They are
Yep.
so good.
Yep. 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 So grabbing a couple of those bands, getting that lightning, where people are jacked afterwards, like that's awesome to see that too, for sure.
For sure. Well, here's what I'm gonna tell you, because I'm absolutely in love with Oh Hiroshima. Uh, I will happily help any way I can get them over here. Um, I don't mind throwing some sponsorship dollars your
All right.
way.
All right. All right.
Like
All
I
right.
I'm
Hey, this is
fucking I'm
this is gonna
into
be
it.
on the internet. This is gonna be truth forever. You can't squeeze out of this now.
I don't I said it. I'm not squeezing out of it.
Yeah, so we've got definitely some bands, and I can share with you some bands later too that are very related to that band that you might love as well, that
Cool.
are also kind of on the hook for next year. So
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Oh, what's the other one? Oh, and so I watch you from afar.
Yeah, we just had them last year. Yeah, they were great. They are
Dude,
awesome dudes and so good. And yeah, so we had them, and now this year is the We Lost the Seat game, and then we'll keep. I like doing that international double dip. I think it's cool,
yeah,
uh, and it gives the opportunity for a lot of people that don't want to or can't afford to go to Europe or Australia or any of these other places these bands are coming from, because the scene over there is amazing
oh,
for
I'm
this
sure.
type of music.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to build a little bit of one here to the best of our ability.
I
So
th I think you've built a pretty good one. If if we're looking at even 500 people showing up for 4 days, that's pretty fucking good.
yeah, yeah. So well,
I'm going to Vegas for a festival, and I talked to that guy, and he's like, "Yeah, we'll probably have 150, 200 people a night."
that's still good. That's
Like
awesome.
I think yeah, it's
Yeah,
great. It's not going to be too crowded. Everyone can just kind of bullshit, and it's right, kind of the infancy of
community,
like
man. Yeah.
Post Fest. You grow it together.
Yep, yep. And then you're watching all your favorite bands with 500 of your pals. Basically, is what it comes down to.
Hell yeah, you are,
Yeah, it's sick. It's really awesome. So
for sure. Um, I was going to ask you something else, and
but
it went
good work.
not
Yeah,
so. I guess it wasn't so fucking important. Oh shit!
cool.
Damn it! It
So
was
you,
like,
so you're
but
in Louisville. So
I'll be there.
yeah, awesome. Yeah, you need to come up. And I love the Louisville. I've been to Louisville to see a couple bands down there too. So I always loved going down there, and you can tell I'm from Indiana, calling it Louisville. Uh,
Louisville, yeah. Well,
yeah,
I grew up in Detroit, and like when I first moved here, it was Louisville, and they're like, "Don't you fucking dare!" And I'm
yeah,
like,
Louis, Louisville. You can't
"Yeah,
do it.
no, it's got to be Louisville."
That's right. Yep, Louisville.
Yeah,
But yeah, man, we any support that we can get to get the word out, we do appreciate your time, dude. Like I know you've got a lot of people that you want to talk to, so we felt very privileged to be a part of this a little bit.
hell yeah. I like to support things that are that I believe in, and something like Post Fest, I can 100% get behind. Knowing that it's a labor of love for you and Derek.
Yeah,
It's
100%.
that's I wish more people would just put their energy into things they love and quit with the things they don't. You know what I mean?
I'm pretty sure I don't know if my wife would agree with that 100%, but I think she loves it too. So yeah, it's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of time. It's a lot
Yeah.
of and I'm not trying to like guilt people into going or guilt people into feeling sorry for me because I don't need that. I bring the pain to myself because I could just say no. Derek and I could say no. But that's the problem with
Self-inflicted.
Derek and I. We always say yes. We always
Yeah.
say yes.
It's, it's funny how that happens. I spent a lot of years saying yes to a lot of things, and it put me in some great positions, and it put me in some pretty stressful positions.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I need to say no a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
than I
Mm-hmm.
do.
Hard to
But
do.
but
Easy to
good for you for building this with Derek and bringing your family in on it.
Yeah, it is a family affair, 100% a family affair. And I think even a lot of people that come as attendees can say that too. Like we're super family friendly. You bring your kid, you're not going to have to pay for them to come in. You just buy your ticket, bring your kids with you, get them some earplugs, let them see what we do. Um, and it works out. Like we have lots of first year we didn't have any kids. Last year we actually had kids t-shirts as a
Oh,
part of our merch offering because it's getting to that point where it's like, yeah, let's support the kids too. So maybe we'll have a kid band on there one year. That'd be kind of cool.
yeah, as long as it's not who is the Mbop people?
Oh, Hanson?
Hanson, yeah.
Oh, come on. We could have Hanson up there. Just put some delay on them. Might be good.
Give mushrooms to everyone in the
Yeah.
crowd. Like it'll be great. No one will know. Okay. Nason, dude, I greatly appreciate your time. I'm looking forward to the festival. I will 100% be there.
Awesome, dude.
So I, if you want me to push anything else out for you guys, I will happily do it on all my socials.
Oh, dude, appreciate that. I appreciate you, Tom.
You too, Nason. Go have yourself a great night. And what we'll do is probably closer to the festival. We'll get Derek on,
Yep. That
and
sounds good.
then we'll get some more promo out for it. All right.
We appreciate you very much. Have a good weekend, okay?
You too, brother.
Bye.
See ya.